Well, for those who know about this track, it's going to be quick. It's going to be an element of thrill. And for those who understand just how important this is in terms of the championship, this is Sparta, Kentucky. And this is the 10th round of the championship here, your Crest Autosport iRacing IndyCar series. And it's getting a little bit dicey up near the top. Everything to play for right now, but with probably the most numerous amount of drivers in the field today, this is going to be an all-important challenge. I'm Jack Sparey, bringing you all of the action today here of this fantastic series, brought to you, of course, by Apex Tracks, the motorsport and motor racing circuit wall art race track sculpture designers who are manufacturing these using Formula One and motorsport-inspired rapid prototyping technologies. That, of course, partners Track Racer, 603 Autosport, lovely stickers, Digital Motorsport, Esports Sim, and the GP Box as well. We stream live via Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch with Crest Autosport TV. It's going to be an important day today in regards to how the championship will set itself about. We know that this is an important day to make sure everything works, and they can see how the points stack at this moment in time on your screen. Thijs Barendregt with control, but it is only the smallest margin of control. That margin just the 4 points as things look at the moment. So if you've got that to remember in the back of the mind, it is going to be a pretty important day in terms of who has what to put into their books. So ultimately, even keel on points from last week for the pair of them, Barendregt and Everitt, 18 points apiece. Dave Steadman is not a million miles away either in terms of this, is just 26 points back. So it's going to be a worthwhile challenge. And of course, the final 2 rounds after today, Chicagoland and the Week 13 foray, when it comes to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, could be very, very vital. So got to keep that in the back of the mind. That is always something that can effectively change the perception of how a championship like this could end itself up reaching. But today is about finding your place and finding the best possible results. We're about 1:45 away right now from bringing ourselves into some great play. Brand new driver currently up there at the top of practice is DL Lemon, up there at the moment in the Sim Racing Associates Bitcoin car, and doing a very, very solid job of things out there so far. His fastest time with the slipstream has been a 24.182. ahead of a driver who won last time out in Tim Stroh. And then, of course, you got the 3 in the championship, Barendregt, Stedman and Everitt, 3rd, 4th and 5th, with the other new driver here in for today's race. Just coming through the pits right now, Inigo Mardones in the number 17 NWS machine, looking for a really, really good run today. And to set things off in the right path, that might just be what we hope to see out there overall from car number 17. But as we know, it's not easy today. You're not going to get guarantees of the way that race is going to go along. And what is going to be incredibly key is how qualifying is going to work overall. Drivers will go out effectively in qualifying order, or championship order, I should say. So they know that when they go out there, put their times down on the board, they've got to be absolutely alert to what they're capable of doing. Once again, Andy Scott will elect not to qualify, so it'll be one less driver than what we traditionally have in terms of a qualifying effort. And it should be as aggressive as possible out there today in terms of finding the right result from all of the efforts that get put through. It is a 1.5 miler here at Kentucky. Practice is bringing itself to a close. We'll be jumping out into qualifying in the next couple of moments. And it should be an interesting battleground that we find ourselves with today. So we'll see how it works then, as all of these drivers look to get themselves ready and situated out there and put themselves in the best possible position for this qualifying effort. They have 20 minutes on the clock. It is effectively an open qualifying, but they will go one driver at a time as they look to push themselves as far forward as possible here at this point in time. So car number 17 will be the first one out there. Inigo Mardones will be the first focus out there on track, and we'll have that opportunity then to get going. So it is going to be an important run here out in terms of time, and we will see whether that will be the case. Of course, if they do take too long here and do not make themselves get out on pits, they will take the disqualification from qualifying and start all the way from the back. So patience is very much the key in terms of a qualifying effort like this, and it might just be the case where, as it is, Mardones will not take to qualifying, and it will then be to DL Lemon, who was going to get the go first. So we'll see now how DL Lemon will make sure this is going to be in terms of a challenge, and we'll see DL Lemon set the first time then out there overall. It'll be an interesting battle. It's a big scrap that they're going to have today in terms of putting a good time down, and the track effectively new out there for DL. It's going to have no help by that respect. It's a cold track as well. It's only 22 degrees here in evening conditions. It's about 5:15 here in sim time at Kentucky. So there's going to be that to deal with. Piling through 3 and 4, and it looks like black flags have been on DL Lemon for speeding about then, and that might invalidate both of the lap times if that hasn't worked out. So if he's been caught out there by his exit from the pits, he's in trouble, and looks like we'll also not be setting a lap time. So very, very interesting scrap early for him, and that is going to be a case of no, we're not going to be clearing flags. So it was all down to how you escape the pits, and it looked like it just wasn't the right way. DL Lemon missing the blue commitment line to escape around, going through 3 and 4, trying to get a lap together, but it will not come together for the 21. Both laps will not count with the black flag, and it's a shame for the driver who was the fastest in practice, who will not put anything down on the board. David Whitehouse, though, will now be out there on track looking to set a lap. So for the 2 new drivers, they will go at the very best from the back. If not, they will be having a lot of work to do today. But Whitehouse is out there on circuit, moving through 1 and 2 right now. And the question for the 6 is going to be how important will that time be? Moving through 3 and 4, hoping for a good run, using all of the circuit going up the road. A very deliberate left going through to try and get that run, and a 24.6, the opening time we see on the board in the mock Subaru out there of 1990s descent. Moving again for this run, trying to charge through, will be Jürgen Pedersen, who is effectively going next apparently. So Whitehouse over the line, 5.14, gets the job done. Pedersen out there on circuit will certainly be hoping for a good run, which means our order is slightly different here on screen, ladies and gentlemen, to what it is on screen. But here is Jürgen Pedersen looking to go for the move and make it happen out there. So for Pedersen, who's not necessarily had the easiest of times out here with qualifying runs, we'll be hoping for a good solid run with Verdane today to make it certainly happen out there at this point in time. So Pedersen has certainly done enough to put the 24.8 down on the board, and now it will be a focus to try and make sure that second lap can find those 0.3 of a second. And this should be important as Pedersen goes through, sorry, 5.42, and that certainly works out quite nicely there for him. Second position, but not by much, by 0.03 of a second in the end. Fran Herrera then will be out in the number 4 car, has had ups and downs and all around, and needs to find an element of consistency through the back half of the season. Charging down low through 1 and 2, staying low by that element of point as well. Moving through to 3 and 4 once again, and trying to get this working, and ultimately flying through. A 24.501 is good enough to be fastest right now, so this should be as important as it comes along. Pennyworth, who was, I believe, forgotten for a couple of runs there, will get his chance now after Fran Herrera to go out. But Herrera here, charging through 3 and 4. A chance to improve would definitely be nice right now, and it does, to a 4.63. So it gives half a tenth at this point in time for the number 4. And that will be more than enough reason to be happy with that element of a run. There is Ben Bennyworth's 96, though, coming out of the pits. He's only had a couple of runs so far this season, but has definitely made good points from them. And we'll see what the privateer is capable of doing then on this one. It's a very jutting run. You get funneled up the circuit as you go into towards 1 and 2. The way that the apron works, you are not allowed to run any points of the apron out there on this track as they put their laps together, but 3 and 4 is definitely a more natural expanse as you go through, one of the more traditional 1.5s as they funnel their way through. A 4.84 or 4.83 as it will be called is not bad at all from Ben Bennyworth. He needs another 200 at this point in time, and that should put everything into pretty much a strong perspective out there right now. So it's going to be a case of Bennyworth trying to make this work, and that second lap doesn't necessarily find itself in play. So Stroh now will be getting the call, or has got the call at this point in time to get things sorted. He's been struggling here to hear whether he is good to go or not, and effectively will also get the disqualification from qualifying as well. So will also be going then from the back. Then there'll be no Scott here moving to make things happen. So it will be Ollie Peters next, who will be making the run forward and will be hoping to get this all going as he squeals out of the pits. So a few issues then in terms of qualifying today, meaning a lot of quick drivers will have to make work through Kentucky. But this is the sort of circuit where you can get those moves done and you can move on forward. And should be interesting here to see how it goes. Ollie Peters then will be looking for the run. Moving through 3 and 4, trying to gear up that speed. And here comes the push for a good lap. The 4 laps taken at this point in time. Moving through and trying to make it happen. But at least for the moment, Ollie Peters trying to get a good run here. 24.463, still the time to beat by Fran Herrera. And moving to try and get this all sorted over the line. So 4.53 is good enough by 100 to take that pole position. But is there going to be even more leeway needed from car 121 running the Crest Autosport car? Funneling down through with the turquoise rims through 3 and 4 once again, keeping it nice and low, curving through the final section, and that is a great improvement to a 3.85, first time in the threes, and it should be all the more important now as everyone looks to try and get themselves situated with this in place. So, Leonardo Paletta, one of the 2 ALP cars looking to try and make a move happen. And an important battle now, because someone like Paletta will try to make it all work, keeping it nice and narrow through 3 and 4, and trying to make that challenge over the line. It's going to be a 4.37. That's good enough for second at the moment. That second lap has been case of some drivers have had it, some drivers have not. It'll be Alfred Morales then, who is next. And this should be all about Paletta's second lap. Will it be good enough to jump up? He's half a tenth of a second. Doesn't find it, so 3.96, so 11 thousandths out. And now it'll be Alfred Morales, the other ALP car, who will be getting the run to go for these 2 laps. Hopefully finding enough to make it happen. So Morales going through 1 and 2, getting a nice run sorted, and then flipping down towards 3 and 4. Again, using as much track as possible. There are only 3 drivers after Morales. First time's a 3.85, and by numbers we can't see, is on top of Ollie Peters. Not by much, so we'll definitely want to find improvement here. And it's going to be pretty much there. It is to the 1,000th, but it will be the 4th decimal that we can't see that makes all of those numbers tick. Morales looking to improve, does so by a couple hundredths, a 3.43 to give control. Steadman will now have a run and should be good to make this one work. And we could see this be pretty much a lap by all intents and purposes that needs to be found in order to keep championship hopes alive if they are. Because if those 2 in front start getting into some business, Steadman is there to capitalise, and would definitely like to hold on to 3rd place in the championship on top of that in the 74. Moving out through 3 and 4, this opening lap then through on the books is a 6.4. Slowest time of anyone down in 8th place, and we'll see whether that works as the second lap comes together. Steadman has been a little bit lacking from time to time in qualifying pushes. We'll see how it goes. Making that run then over towards the line. 6.47 improves to a 2.93 up to the top. Steadman with the power lap that goes through. Now, pretty in pink is going to be Alex Everitt right now. We'll see what he'll do as he's on his lap, trying to make that charge through 1 and 2. And trying to make sure that his number 3 machine stays in the title fight. 4 points behind. Opportunity lost by his understanding. And his first lap was a 3:37, which is good enough for second. He still needs 400ths on the second lap, trying to gear it up to speed. 3:46 going through 1 and 2 in kilometres an hour. You can see it there, about 216 Ks going through the corners. And it dips down a little bit more through 3 and 4. It's a little bit more of a tougher turn through there, but over the line, it's a 3:31, only found 6,000, so Stedman's got the better of Alex Everitt. It'll be down now to car 2, Thijs Barendregt. 1 finish off of the top 3 this season, that came last time out. Fortunately, used that as a drop to get around there, but ultimately, it could be a very important lap. Moving on that high side, trying to put everything to get it all into play. And over that first lap, it's a 24-7. No surprises there. He's trying to gear up this second lap. Get as much as possible. 3:46 through on the exit. And now the charge is going to be through 3 and 4. Have you got what it takes moving up high and making that run to the line? It's a 3:16 for second. Not enough to take pole position, but ultimately second place is not bad at all in terms of laps. So Dave Stedman will take the pole here at Kentucky. A few radio issues out there in qualifying, but ultimately it's going to be an all-important battleground as everyone's qualifyings come to a close here at Kentucky. And an all-important battle now will be drivers moving their way through the field. Some needing to be aggressive, others needing to be a little bit more defensive out there in terms of limits. And we should see everybody now put as much as they can forward that gives them the result that they need over 100 laps worth of racing. So confirmation of qualifying. Dave Stedman picks it up in the number 74 machine with a 24.293. Ahead of Thijs Barendregt in second and Alex Everitt then in third. Alfred Morales starts fourth with Ollie Peters fifth and Leonardo Paletta in sixth position. Following that is Fran Herrera and Ben Bennyworth with David Whitehouse in ninth. And it will be Jürgen Pedersen, the last time set, in 10th, which means by iRacing, you've got Lemon, then it's going to be Scott, and then you've got Mardones and Stroh, who effectively do not find themselves in position, at least at this point in time. And so it should be an important battle as everyone looks to situate themselves for the race. And we should be in for a really important battleground out there as Morales finds the wall. So it should be all important. So can we find ourselves with a really interesting scenario right now? 5 minutes of warm-up. There is DL Lemon out there on circuit. He, of course, no black flags can be cleared out there in session. You've got to keep it within the lines. He exited off of the apron before the blue commitment cone. That's why his laps didn't count in the number 21 machine. So he'll have a lot of action in there as well. And let's just listen in as DL Lemon makes that push and goes on forward. So all troubles then as we come back. All the important issues then already there. Looks like Leonardo Paletta upside down on the front stretch. So it's going to be all important now whether you can keep yourself in play with what's going to be going forward. And a few issues then coming through as we've got so much of a battle here to come along, and it should be all important as they go through. So we'll see what happens then in the not too distant future as we focus here on Ollie Peters going out there. Just awaiting word here, ladies and gentlemen, that we may have a server switch on our hands with a couple of issues that is going on at the moment. So it looks like there are a couple of issues out there with a couple of drivers who got disqualified from qualifying from not being able to get out there on circuit and effectively not having their ability to go out there on track for the race as intended. So that effectively could mean that we'll be sitting and waiting then for the race to come into play a little bit longer than what we are at this point in time. And sometimes these things happen when it comes to sim racing. It happened very, very famously with the 24-hour event in Le Mans, where the server effectively went down almost, and they had to red flag the server and make sure they could bring it back up again. So that is definitely work that's in play. Fran Herrera in trouble then on the front stretch as well. As a couple of drivers, it is going to be important. We are going to advance the session just to make sure whether drivers can or cannot bring themselves onto the grid. If not, we are going to be moving on forward to a new server. If not, we are going to be very much in patience mode. And if they can get themselves gridded up, they can start. Otherwise, they cannot. So focus is going to be important right now, and can't grid is the word. So we will, by all intents and purposes, we're going to have a brand new server here, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to have to take ourselves away to commercial break at this point in time. Stay with us here with Crest Autosport. We'll be back with the race shortly.
The GP Box is an online marketplace for motorsports merchandise and memorabilia. Browse for a whole range of motorsports products in all forms of motorsport. Take Formula 1 for example. There is a whole section dedicated to Formula 1 products from your favourite drivers, cars, teams or tracks from all eras of Formula 1. There are more series available, including WRC if you are a rally fan. You can even search for your favourite form of motorsport to see what products they have in your favourite forms of motorsport. Or, if yourself are a retailer in motorsport, you could set up your own shop within the GP Box to open up your products to a much bigger motorsport audience. Find out more at thegpbox.com. The GP Box is an online marketplace for motorsports merchandise and memorabilia. Browse for a whole range of motorsports products in all forms of motorsport. Take Formula 1 for example. There is a whole section dedicated to Formula 1 products from your favourite drivers, cars, teams or tracks from all eras of Formula 1. There are more series available, including WRC if you are a rally fan. You can even search for your favourite form of motorsport to see what products they have in your favourite forms of motorsport. Or, if yourself are a retailer in motorsport, you could set up your own shop within the GP Box to open up your products to a much bigger motorsport audience. Find out more at thegpbox.com. The GP Box is an online marketplace for motorsports merchandise and memorabilia. Browse for a whole range of motorsports products in all forms of motorsport. Take Formula 1 for example. There is a whole section dedicated to Formula 1 products from your favourite drivers, cars, teams or tracks from all eras of Formula 1. There are more series available, including WRC if you are a rally fan. You can even search for your favourite form of motorsport to see what products they have in your favourite forms of motorsport. Or, if yourself are a retailer in motorsport, you could set up your own shop within the GP Box to open up your products to a much bigger motorsport audience. Find out more at thegpbox.com. GP Box is an online marketplace for motorsports merchandise and memorabilia. Browse for a whole range of motorsports products in all forms of motorsport. Take Formula 1 for example. There is a whole section dedicated to Formula 1 products from your favourite drivers, cars, teams or tracks from all eras of Formula 1. There are more series available, including WRC if you are a rally fan. You can even search for your favourite form of motorsport to see what products they have in your favourite forms of motorsport. Or, if yourself are a retailer in motorsport, you could set up your own shop within the GP Box to open up your products to a much bigger motorsport audience. Find out more at thegpbox.com. The GP Box is an online marketplace for motorsports merchandise and memorabilia. Browse for a whole range of motorsports products in all forms of motorsport. Take Formula 1 for example. There is a whole section dedicated to Formula 1 products from your favourite drivers, cars, teams or tracks from all eras of Formula 1. There are more series available, including WRC if you are a rally fan. You can even search for your favourite form of motorsport to see what products they have in your favourite forms of motorsport. Or, if yourself are a retailer in motorsport, you could set up your own shop within the GP Box to open up your products to a much bigger motorsport audience. Find out more at thegpbox.com.
Well, this was a walk through a windy beach down to a cafe that was closed. We do apologise, ladies and gentlemen, for the inability today to bring you coverage of the 10th round of the Wednesday night IndyCar racing series here with Crest Autosport, the iRacing Fixed Oval Series from Kentucky. The issue that we had today was that a couple of drivers got disqualified from qualifying and as such would have been disqualified from the race. That wouldn't have been fair to the competitors. So we tried to make an attempt to get a brand new server up and going, which just didn't happen on our end. We are very sorry to be unable to bring you coverage of that today. These things do happen in sim racing from time to time, and unfortunately, today is the day where it doesn't quite go right for us. The good news, though, is we'll be back a week from today at Chicagoland to bring you all of the action. So at least for the time being, we're going to have at least 2 more rounds left in the championship here to make sure everything is going to be all okay. From William Foyle, who's been along with us, Apex Track, 603 Autosport, lovely stickers. And on top of that as well, you can say Digital Motorsport, Esports Sim, and GP Box. My name's Jake Sparey. It's not the way we wanted things to go tonight, but there'll be a race next week that we can guarantee. We'll see you next week for the racing action that'll be coming to you from Chicagoland.